What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 378. I hope so. I said that right. Yes, 378. Sometimes I get lost these numbers, so I have to look quick on my laptop and make sure. I hope you guys are doing great. I am doing fantastic. I got off some phone calls this past week, which were very exciting, man. A lot of exciting things happening behind the scenes. So I'm ecstatic, man. I'm ecstatic. The vision is coming together, and that's the beautiful part. I saw somebody comment, man, on the Spotify. So I see the comments on the Spotify because not many comments on there. So if you really want to get my attention, the best way to troll is on the Spotify comments because I know some people like to troll. And somebody said, man, stop complaining about like money or whatever. Fuck, I never complain about money. I think I just talked about my YouTube views being bad on the main channel at a certain point. But I don't think I've ever complained to you guys about money. I don't recall that. You know, maybe because the views were low, I talked about it. But yeah, I just saw somebody say that and I was just like, what? It makes no sense to me. But shout out to that guy, man. Whatever. He's some people just, I don't know. I guess they hear things differently than maybe I did. I don't know. I don't recall myself complaining about that. But yeah, it's great seeing comments from people. It's great seeing whether positive, negative. I respond to both. As much as I can. I don't stay online and just read every single comment. The best way to get a response out of me is commenting right when the videos drop. Most of the time, I will be looking at the comments. So whether you're trolling, hating, loving, showing support, whatever, wanting to ask me a question, most of the time it's within the first like 10, 15 minutes of the video coming out, especially on the main Diverse Mentality channel. On the podcast, sometimes I'm there, but mainly on that channel, the main channel. Especially like this upcoming documentary that's coming out, I'll be there in the live chat, checking out the live chat, stuff like that. But yeah, that's just wanted to address that. That was pretty funny. But let's get into the news. And there is a lot, man. There's Fat Joe, putting out a story about him, giving a two-piece to Young Buck responding, Fat Joe responding. There's this whole F the Streets movement that's going on with 21 Savage, Young Thug, and I'm going to talk about that because I think a lot of that is just fabricated for sales and stuff like that. But let's start with some updates on some other previous news that happened, which I always start the podcast with. Drake and UMG's Mediation and Not Like Us lawsuit appeal has been delayed. So let's go over this. Drake is probably very busy these days, whether it's working on his new album, Iceman, or dealing with a whole lot of legal matters. However, as requested by his lawyers and his legal representatives for Universal Music Group, it seems like his appeal and his dismissed defamation lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us diss track won't be taking up too much of his time this holiday season. According to the OVO docket on Twitter, the court had scheduled a mediation between both parties today, Friday, December 19th. The mediation process is mandatory for all legal filings in the Court of Appeals. But the court reportedly rescheduled the meeting for January 8th of next year, which was not a decision by either party. Still, it seems like this turned out just how both parties wanted. After all, lawyers for Drake and UMG requested holiday breaks regarding various elements of the dismissed lawsuit's proceedings. However, these did not include the mediation itself. Rather, reports indicated that the delay requests related more to briefs, although it was a general request regarding key deadlines and overall developments. Interesting. So just more delays, man. Most of the stuff is delays. Furthermore, these new legal updates might give Drake more time for his Iceman album. We still don't know when it will come out, and we don't have a date for the next rollout stream either. I think what happened was because the lawsuit got dismissed, the rollout for that album kind of got destroyed because if you look at the Iceman live streams, you'll see that it kind of centered around that lawsuit. I mean, I think the last live stream was him going in the center of this area and all these people in suits looking at him, and then he gets out of there with his briefcase and whatever. I think that derailed his initial rollout, and I think the reception to the singles were bad for the most part, and that also derailed the rollout, which is fine. Let Drake take all the time, because this is going to be a defining moment for him in his career. If this album doesn't be one of the best albums he's ever produced in his career, which is hard to do because he's made so many albums, or at least be up there. Be up there with Nothing Was the Same, be up there with Take Care, be up there with, I don't know what's his third best album. I got to actually rank Drake's albums down the line, but let's just say Scorpion, right? Be up there with those projects, then, most people are going to say he fell off, and the sales are going to reflect that as well in terms of, what's going on with streaming and all that. We talked about that in the last episode, how streaming numbers are getting changed and the numbers are all fucked when it comes to all this stuff. So, I'm not Drake's past his prime in terms of sales. I think most artists from that time, even J. Cole, even Kendrick, I think they're past their prime in sales. I don't see Kendrick ever doing 600 and something thousand first week again. I just don't. Unless like he just hits like each record he drops and does like proper promo for it, hits like number one and he just skyrockets. Then I could see him doing it. But, the surprise album releases, it won't do that type of numbers. You got to have like a build up, a rollout, a proper build up in order to do that 600,000 that he once did. Same with Drake. I don't see him ever doing, 700, 800, 900 or, because Drake's been in between 6 to 800 for most of his career, right? Because Take Care did 600,000. Nothing Was the Same did another 600,000 first week. And I'm saying like 640 to the other one 670. Then, Views did 1 million technically. And then Scorpion did like 700,000. So he had like more albums in the 600 to 800 to one being 1 million. But on average, he's between 600 to 800,000, like in between there. So anything that he does below 600,000, is not what he normally does in sales, which is not a flop. I mean, if Drake did 400,000 on For All the Dogs, and, that's still, most artists aren't fucking doing 400,000. Matter of fact, let me actually go on Twitter. It's actually interesting. There was a statistic that was shown that showed the first week sales this year of all hip hop albums that came out. And literally like the best first week sales was Playboi Carti this year. So yeah, Playboi Carti's got the number one best first week sales with 298,000 the first week with his music album. Then Some Sexy Songs for You with his Drake and Party Next Door. That's 246,000. Then Jack Boys 2 with 232,000. Then Am I the Drama, Cardi B with 200,000, which is kind of cheating. But then you had Don't Tap the Glass, 197. You had Wham, 140. Let God Sort Him Out, 118. The Carter 6, I believe. Yeah, Carter 6, 108,000. So yeah, you only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums do over 100,000. And there were a lot of albums that came out this year, or at least a decent amount. So only 8 out of, I don't know how many albums, let's just say, it looks like on this list, at least 50. So 8 out of 50 albums did 100,000. The rest were under 100,000. So, the only artists I care about sales nowadays, actually, I really don't give a shit about any of them in sales, but the only artist that anybody should really focus on sales with is like the newer acts. I think Drake, J. Cole, whoever that has been out in the game for like more than 10 years, they passed their prime. So I really don't care what Iceman does in first week sales. It could do 150,000. Yes, would that be looked at as a flop when it comes to Drake's career and what he normally does? Of course. But I could care less. That doesn't dictate to me whether the music's hot or not. It's never dictated to me. I'm not saying that just now is how I think, but throughout my whole life, I never really cared. There are albums that I bump that I love that I consider some of the greatest albums ever that didn't do well in sales. Doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I just, I don't know how I got into this conversation, but with Iceman being delayed and constantly like that, I think he is kind of worried about, basically what I'm saying is he should worry about the reception of the album more than he should of the commercial performance. Because the commercial performance, Drake's already proven that field. He's done 1 million copies first week. He's done however many times, insane first week sales and has albums. He has Take Care that just went diamond. He's got other albums that are going to reach diamond. So to him, sales is something that shouldn't be really focused on. Let's focus on the quality of work. Please, I think he should go the route of Eminem with Kamikaze. Hey, just like let the missiles fly. That won't happen though because it seems like things are getting patched up behind the scenes when it comes to like Metro Boomin and Drake. 21 Savage talked about it. So we're probably not going to get that take, but I don't want Drake releasing something that is catered towards teenagers, which he did. He previewed that fucking Yeet record, whatever the fuck that record was called. That shit was ass. It was horrible. Sorry, I need to stop saying that, by the way. I need to stop saying like ass and horrible. Like, it's just a bad song. I don't want to like disrespect, someone's artistry here. I keep saying that and I keep having to check myself. I'm like, man, that's too harsh. It's just not a good record. That's it. That's the update on that. And I'm sure there's going to be more delays coming down the line, but we'll see. Updates on the 6ix9ine home invasion. And it looks like at least one person has been arrested from that. Let's go over the article. Tekashi 6ix9ine may spend his time online beefing with other rappers, but he has to deal with a lot of legal matters behind the scenes. While most of them relate to trouble of his own, others might find him justice. For example, TMZ reported this weekend that authorities have arrested a suspect accused of invading 6ix9ine's home last month. According to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in Florida, 19-year-old Pedro Rodriguez got charges of armed home invasion robbery with a firearm, false imprisonment, grand theft, and possession of marijuana with intent to sell or deliver. However, there are more suspects in this case. There still hasn't been another arrest at press time, but law enforcement says their investigation continues to develop. So yeah, this is reporting on the home invasion robbery that happened well over a month ago. So they got one person, and I'm sure they're going to get the rest. This is, I don't know, I actually watched it earlier this morning as I, was, I think, eating on something. I was eating a snack or something. And I had this video recommended in my YouTube recommendations, and they got like, I don't even know, fucking 2-3 million views in like 19 hours. Crazy numbers, right? And it's these guys with these fake UPS outfit, and they're right on camera because the house has cameras all over, inside and outside. And they have this fake package. They knock on the door. The kid, unfortunately, I think he's like 20 years old. He goes outside, and as they're walking, because nobody's answering the door, they start to walk away. But as they're walking away, he goes outside and says, hey, like whatever he says to them, let me get the package or whatever. And, as they get closer to his house and they ask him, hey, you guys don't got any big dogs or anything like that? And he's like, no, it's just this little small dog, because a small dog followed him. And they pulled out pistols. They started to go inside the house, try to rob it. They ended up killing all 3 of the adults in the house: the dad, the mother, the kid, the son at 20 years old. And there's 2 little kids there, I think 5 and 7 years old, or something smaller like that, 3 and 5 or something. They didn't kill them. Thank God, at least the kids got, to be alive. And they killed them dead on sight for measly amounts of dollars. That is a home invasion robbery that went really bad. They killed the father first, then they killed the mother, then they killed the son, which is dumb in itself. Like, they should have just pistol whipped them, got whatever they can get financially, and keep it moving. In general, it's dumb and it's stupid to be doing this because there's so many you're going to get caught. Like, you're going to get caught. Like, any criminal trying to do stupid, like, it's a low IQ problem. It's stupid fucking people. That's all it is. There's no other way to explain it. You're in 2025. You're going to get caught one way or another. And on top of that, you didn't even get any money out of this situation. Barely any money. They all got sentenced to life. At least 2 of them are facing life. 1 got sentenced to life. They're going to get sentenced to life too, because you just murdered people in front of kids. Like, what do you think? They'll just be like, oh, that's all right. You can go ahead and serve only 5 years. No, you guys are all getting life in prison for nothing, for stupid. You just wasted your whole life. And the video is horrible to watch, man. I'm upset at myself for even watching it. But yeah, that video is crazy, and it just shows that, hey, if something looks off, get cameras around your house. I have cameras all over my house, and then get some type of safety inside your house. I got a few straps here, and I don't. Hey, I hope I never have to use them, but I will kill somebody to protect my house and protect people in this house. That's, end of the day, that's what it is. I have no hesitation with that. I know morally where I'm at. I'm not, pistol trigger happy and willing to kill anybody. But if somebody's coming in my house trying to rob me, trying to harm anybody in this house, I will kill them on sight with no hesitation. That's not even a second, not even a split second in my mind that will be like, nah, I won't do it. I will do it. And I will do it with brute force. Unless you're just running out the house, then, I'll let you, I'm not a fucking murderer here, try to kill anybody. But hey, if you're coming in the house and, I see in the cameras you got something on you, I will let that thing pop, fly, whatever. Like, I have no hesitation on that, man. With that being said, be careful, man. Get cameras around your house. Get some type of protection inside your house. And even with the protection, make sure it's in a safe. Make sure it's locked away, because once you have kids and stuff like that, luckily I don't have to worry about that right now. But, kids can play with those guns and end up hurting people and hurting themselves. So you have to be very careful with those things, but protect yourself. In America especially, if you're overseas listening to this, I know you guys I know in the UK all I got is knives, but shit, get a knife, man. Get a knife. I got a few knives that will poke somebody and destroy a person if I have to, But with that being said, get those cameras, get that protection, and just, if something looks suspicious, man, on the camera, don't answer it. Even if it doesn't make sense for UPS to come to your door, knock on your door, right? You don't answer it, and they leave, and there's no UPS truck anywhere. And there's a second guy that's like on the camera that's like chilling on the side with his whole face was covered. That tells you something's going on. Like, that kid was kind of oblivious. I'm not trying to put the blame on the kid, but damn, like some people just don't, I don't know, I don't think they realize in the moment, or maybe it's just, I don't know, they don't notice. Like, do you not notice this UPS guy does not look like a UPS guy at all? Like, especially his second partner that's with them. He's all masked up, covered. Like, they don't know, man. That's not, and this is in 2024. I could understand if it was in 2020 when COVID was happening, everybody was masked up, it's that you can understand, right? But this is 2024 when this happened. People weren't using masks like that anymore. So yeah, if you guys ever end up watching that video, go ahead and check it. I actually wouldn't recommend watching it, but I know people are going to be curious to watch it. Just search up like fake UPS delivery leads to murder or something like that. I forget what the title is, but it's got like insane views, man. Within like 24 hours, like 3 million views. Crazy though, man. Just be careful out there, man. Don't answer the door to anybody. I had somebody knock on my door a couple of days ago. But I saw his vehicle. It was a tow truck guy, and he didn't have spark plugs. Or not spark plugs, but fuck, man, what are those things called, man? It's slipping my mind. Those things that you put in the car to fucking start them, man, and you put it on a different car. Why am I not? Whatever. I gave him that, because I could tell who it was. I could see, I was paying attention. I pay attention to anything going around. That's why I have a lot of cameras around. I just want to see everything. I want to make sure, because you just don't know, man. Some people are just fucking crazy, and things could happen in a brief, instant moment. So just be very wary, man. I even saw a DoorDash person that delivered food, sprayed pepper spray on the person's food, and just damn near poisoned them and killed them. So it's a crazy world out here is what I'm saying. Just be careful. But yeah, that's the update on 6ix9ine's home invasion. Hopefully they get to other people as well. And at least in this situation, it's good that nobody actually got harmed. Nobody got shot, killed, because it could have gone way left like that video did. This is crazy news. Jam Master Jay's alleged killer gets conviction overturned. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's go over the article. For over 20 years, the case of Jam Master Jay's tragic murder was unsolved, but in February of last year, a jury convicted 2 men, Carl Jordan Jr. and Ronald Washington, for the murder of Run DMC legend. However, it seems like this case isn't over just yet, as a shocking development has just changed the outcome. According to Billboard, a federal judge in Brooklyn overturned Jordan Jr.'s murder conviction today, Friday, December 19th, due to impermissibly speculative nature of the government's case against him, which they delayed by decades. Judge LaShawn DeCarcy Hall granted his motion for acquittal over his 2 federal murder counts, arguing that there was simply no evidence regarding Jordan Jr.'s alleged motive for the fatal 2002 shooting. For those unaware, prosecutors claimed that he murdered Jay as a payback for a cocaine transaction that went south. After a review of the trial record, the court finds that the government's theories of Jordan's drug-related motive to kill Jay or drug offensive-related motive to use a firearm are impermissibly speculative and just conjure. The judge stated Jordan has met the heavy burden under federal rules to be granted a judgment of acquittal. Elsewhere, Jam Master Jay's other alleged killer was not as lucky. Judge DeGarcy Hall reportedly wrote, a reasonable jury could conclude Washington sought to murder Jay in reprisal for Jay's failure to ensure Washington's promised involvement in the Baltimore deal, as well as to send a message to other co-conspirators. As such, Ronald Washington's conviction stands. Carl Jordan Jr.'s lawyer, Michael Houston, gave a statement to Billboard reacting to this overturned conviction. On behalf of Mr. Jordan and his family, today's decision brings a measure of solace as they approach the holiday season. However, federal prosecutors can appeal this acquittal, and Jordan Jr. has other murder charges to deal with in court. On the other hand, Ronald Washington's lawyer told Billboard that she was looking forward to the appeal and said she will challenge this ruling. Regarding Carl Jordan Jr.'s judge, DeRC Hall ruled that the government did not prove a link between him and Jam Master Jay's murder. The record in this case is bereft of such an obvious link or any link between the failed Baltimore deal and Jordan's decision to participate in Mizell's murder 2 months later. The judge wrote, there is simply no evidence of personal dispute between Jordan and Mizell or any suggestion that Jordan felt slighted by his role in the conspiracy. Meanwhile, Jay Bryant will face trial for murder as well. We will see if that trial ends up shedding more light on this complex and harrowing situation. Interesting, man. So one person is out. That is crazy, man. That is insane. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I guess the appeal and all that worked, man. They felt like, hey, this is not enough evidence to say that this person was involved in it. Crazy, man. All these years later, it's insane. Even new twists and stuff happen to these things, decades later, which is crazy. But yeah, that's the update on that. This story is crazy, and this is why you should really try to obey the rules wherever you go across the world when you're traveling. And it's really not that hard. Most people agree to certain rules of like, hey, be respectful, don't steal, simple things, right? But then there are more stricter rules when it comes to drugs, paraphernalia, whatever, different countries. Some places don't accept alcohol at all. Some places do. All that stuff. I'm saying this to say because Wiz Khalifa is facing 9 months in Romania over drug possession. Different country, different rules. Let's go over the article. Wiz Khalifa is in real danger of staying behind bars at a Romanian prison. The beloved rapper is facing a sentence of 9 months for illegal drug possessions. You may remember that he publicly apologized on his Twitter account for reportedly having 18 grams of cannabis on him. That came from Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, or DIICOT. Last night's show was amazing. I didn't mean any disrespect to the country of Romania by lighting up on stage. They were very respectful and let me go. I'll be back soon, but without a big-ass joint next time. He was in Romania for the Beach Please Festival in Contensenti. Per TMZ, Romania's Consonant Court of Appeal upheld an appeal from the DICOT today, December 18th. Previously, Wiz was only fined 3,000 lei, which roughly equates to $700. While Cancun reports that the decision is final, according to Romanian law, Wiz Khalifa's legal team is getting ready to appeal it. The laws regarding drug possession in the central southeastern country are really strict, so it wouldn't be too surprising if the black and yellow star has to face the sentence. It's an unfortunate development for the 38-year-old who put out his Kush and Orange Juice sequel in April, along with the 15th anniversary edition to that classic mixtape. Follow rules, man. Follow rules. Know where you are, at what is going on, because it can really, really mess up your life. Now if he has to do that 9 months, that's horrible. You got to do 9 months in a completely different country where you don't speak their language. Like, how are people supposed to keep track of you over there? Like, family has to be over there. People have to be over there constantly to make sure you're good. It ain't the smartest thing to do, man. Know the rules, know the laws in every place, especially if you're a celebrity and you're going to make money in a different location. Know that not every place is going to allow and deal with your stuff. But we'll keep an update on this. It's crazy nonetheless. Fat Joe has decided to basically stir up some stuff with Young Buck, and it was when Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda appeared on the Joe and Jada podcast. If you're not aware, Fat Joe just recently did an episode on their Joe and Jada podcast with Jadakiss, and they had Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda up there. And on there, Fat Joe decided to recall a moment where he ran into Young Buck, and the way he tells the story is that Young Buck wanted to come down and fight him, but didn't come down, and Young Buck popped his head out through the security, and Fat Joe swung on him a few times and gave him a 2-piece biscuit, basically. And Tony Yayo kind of counters the story and says, tell the story because I never heard about it. And he kind of looks at him a little side-eyed. Same with Jadakiss. He looks at him a little bit side-eyed. And the whole, I don't know, man, something seemed weird about their interactions on there. I mean, it started out really cool. Towards the end, Yayo kind of presses Fat Joe about, hey, did you want to do harmful things to me? What was that about? And it just kind of got ended there. And Yayo kind of looks at him a little bit different and weird. So there was some type of tension there still. But, they're still cool. They did a deal, like Fat Joe and Jadakiss helped Yayo and Uncle Murda do a podcast deal with their Valium network. So, clearly it was not, any beef there anymore. But Fat Joe's story decided to stir up a lot of drama because a lot of people look at Fat Joe's stories as lies, or at least they're fabricated to, way further extent to make him look better. So let's play the clip of Fat Joe telling the story, and then I'm going to get into Young Buck's response, as well as the people that were around at that time, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on everything.
You breaking news if I never told nobody or said this story before, but because we saying it, I might as well. But I caught Young Buck in that time.
Oh, shit.
I never heard that story.
You know he ain't going to tell 50 that?
Yeah, call Young Buck.
Tell us the story, because he ain't going to tell 50.
Man, he got 2-piece legend. Like,
shit.
Yeah, Young Buck, man. That nigga tried to front on me. He said, I'm telling you.
They put hands on Buck.
I'm telling you.
Supposed to be no head.
No.
Oh,
all right.
So
no
happened?
story or you want the story?
I want the story.
And so I'm coming off stage. It's like a summer jam, but a winter jam. Right? It was winter, right? So everybody on there, Young Jeezy, Fab, there was a lot of witnesses too. I don't know. They don't never tell my stories when I'm the victor, I never hear the story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting off the stage and it's dumb dark. Like it's mad dark. And there was somebody up on the second thing. He was like, yo, crack. But I just got off stage. I'm ripping it down. Chicago. I'm walking out and says, yo, crack. You hear me, nigga? I look up. Oh, it's Young Buck. I got a water bottle in my hand. Like, fuck out of here. I throw the water bottle up there. I said, come down, pussy. Come down, pussy.
Damn.
Like, come down, pussy.
Damn.
Yo, I'm going crazy. Oh. I don't never get like.
So when he came down.
I don't know. I don't get tested. Like, it's very hard to test me. Yeah, yo, I'm telling you, I'm going.
Come on, man.
I just black out. So I'm waiting for the nigga. The nigga up there, he got to come down the staircase, right? So I'm losing my mind, right? Like, yo, come nigga. Come. He had a bunch of niggas with him, too. A bunch of Chicago dudes with him, right? So the cops come and they form like a barricade. Like, there's like 5 cops. They close the staircase so he won't come. He took too long to come down, by the way. Like, when you see a nigga, you ready to tear him up. You down.
Get there.
Yeah. He's taking too long, right? And so when he comes down, he's in the staircase and he's trying to tell me, like, yo, this ain't got nothing to do. But he was just talking crazy. He tested me to see if Fat Joe was pussy. A lot of niggas is pussy. They act like they tough,
he just
but
wasn't
you catch
saying
him.
what up? Like he said,
hell no. It was at the height of the beef.
Oh.
So he's in the staircase. Yo, I wasn't this and that. But he poked his head out just 1 second over the cop's thing. The nigga caught the... Niggas like,
what he do?
Even the barber hit him.
So what he do?
Even the barber hit him?
He hit us with the my bag. Yo, it wasn't like that. This, that.
Damn.
Then we jumped. I tell you, I had that was
Shit sad.
I had the ugly niggas
he
with
said,
me.
my bad. I'm just thinking little lines again.
No, I'm just telling you. It was like this. Yo, it happened.
I never heard this story. This is the first time.
I'm telling you the truth.
That's great. Not
There's a lot of stories we never heard. He
He's the one to come up here.
He can't come up here anyway. Why? Because the nigga ain't down with the movement no more. He can't come up here. Say his part. What you gonna say? I'll tell him in his face. Come on, JD, you fucking with
Listen, I never look.
So that's Fat Joe's side of things. He says that, he gave him a 2-piece biscuit quickly, briefly, and everything was broken up and they all went their separate ways. Now, the people that were there, and mainly on Buck's side, have spoken out and said this is total fabrication. This is total lies. And one of the first people to respond is Starlito. If you don't know Starlito, he is, part of Nashville, Cashville, Tennessee. Of course, with Young Buck, they had beef themselves, but they squashed it actually fairly recently in public, having an event with a bunch of people squashing the beef. Even D-Tay pulled up with Buck, which was cool. But Starlito quoted the tweet that referred to the Fat Joe clip, and he said this: Cappuccino, I was there. Chicago PD put me in cuffs as they de-escalated. Lil Wayne security got me out of the jam. No one harmed anyone. So that was the first response when it came to this. And the second response was Young Buck. He decided to go on social media and make funny AI videos saying that he just got out of the hospital after Fat Joe gave him a 2-piece, which was hilarious. He posted those clips. And then the following day, he decided to preview a response diss track with a biscuit and little quotes and lines. And then after that, Young Buck's former DJ decided to step in and give his side of the story. He was Young Buck's DJ from 2006 to like 2008 or 2009, so quite some time back. But he says, I wasn't the street guy. I just saw it from my perspective, and this is what happened. So check out the video explaining that.
Hey, yo, what up? Hey, look, I'm DJ Don Juan, right? I was Young Buck's DJ from 2006 to like 2008. And yesterday I'm wondering why I'm seeing, this post about Fat Joe and this two-piece biscuit. And so I finally stopped and watched it today, and look, man, the majority of people I know that Joe is a percentage-wise cap. There's always like something and then there's something. And it is what it is. I don't personally know Joe. I know cats that do. It is what it is. I'm not hating on podcasts. I'm a huge fan of Jadakiss. You know what I'm saying? The whole joint. You see how he just kind of put the pillow over. Look, man, I love entertainment. But I was actually there at that Chicago show. And it was a lot of people. Yes, and we were up on a top tier. And I was specifically watching this. I'm not the goon. I'm the DJ. So I'm watching everything from like everybody's in front of me and I'm right there, right? I see this. I'm right there at that tunnel that comes down. What Joe is lying at is Joe pulled up at the bottom of that tunnel with 4 cops with him. Like they were surrounding him. Like there was already a tension in the air that the beef was going on and that Buck was going to be there. And Joe was moving around the whole time with police. I'm not knocking that. That's just exactly what happened. The police didn't just randomly pop up and form some type of barricade at the tunnel. They was already with him. And yes, the police did form a barricade, but they was rolling with him from the stage all the way back to his tour bus. They was there. Buck was barking from the top. The whole crew was, because Buck was down for the unit. Buck was down for 50. I know things have happened, but everywhere we went, you was not going to disrespect 50 Cent in front of Young Buck. So Buck was like, he was barking at him, right? Joe comes into view at the bottom of that tunnel and looks up at Buck and says, yo, Buck, no disrespect to you, but fuck 50. And when he said that, like Buck just turned into an animal and they just rammed down that corridor to come down. Like it was a big arena. We were in Chicago. And he starts coming down, but he can't get to him because of the police. Buck and Joe and them, as soon as Buck started coming, Joe and them took off to go to the tour buses, bro. And I don't get it. I know it's cap, and they say all news is good news or whatever for the game, for like this business that we're in. And it's funny looking at the memes and stuff like that. But two-piece biscuit where? Literally. I might as well just been the journalist. I'm the DJ. I'm not the goon, dude. Like, I'm not on the front line ready to go to war physically like that, especially at that time, right? Nowadays, it's a little bit different. But back then, I was very young, was new to the whole play. It's cap, bro. It's cap. Coach PR reposted it. They know it's other people. RP Tick, Tillin on it. It's cap, bro. Why, though? And now, bring Buck up on the podcast then. Like I said, like Joe is cap, man. It's all for entertainment though. So I was actually there. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. No two-piece, no biscuit. Just Fat Joe with police from the moment he went on stage to the moment he came off stage and to back of his tour bus, which was probably smart on his part. Because like I said, Buck was not playing no games back then when it came to anything dealing with G-Unit, 50 Cent, any of that. And Buck definitely had them goons with him, them gorillas with him. And they weren't all from Chicago. Some of them was from the Ville. It was with us everywhere we went. And best believe, yeah. So anyway, shout out to Buck. You know what I'm saying? Joe can keep capping. Shout out to them in their podcast. I ain't tripping, do numbers. But there was no two-piece and no biscuit. I was there.
So his side of the story from the DJ's perspective is that nobody put hands on anybody. Basically, Fat Joe said, hey, no disrespect to you, Buck, but F50. And Buck at that time was obviously rolling with G-Unit, riding with 50. So anybody disrespected 50, Buck was willing to go at. And there is history of Buck doing this. I mean, just look at the Vibe Awards where he allegedly stabbed somebody over Dr. Dre and protecting Dr. Dre. So if Buck can do that, it's clear as day he can definitely go at somebody like a Fat Joe. I don't think he was scared of a Fat Joe. Let's be honest here, guys. let's not, twist the story. But continuing on, after Buck's DJ posted that video of him explaining the incident with Fat Joe responded in the comments and said, "Man, you wasn't there because you wouldn't be saying this. Buck should be a grown man and admit it. But no worries, this ain't the first time someone lied on an ass whooping. Buck is crazy for denying this." Buck's former DJ responded and said, "So explain to me how Buck is going to perform without his DJ. You can't be serious. Bruh, bring back Joey Crack. I don't like Baul Fat Joe. I legit have no reason to cap. I saw you with my own eyes and heard you loud and clear. I gave the direct quote you said and then you left. Vamonos. You could try and lie about others, but I was the DJ and we saw you enter with police, perform with police, talk ish with police, and leave with the police. I actually think you made the right decision, Joey Cap." We then get to Buck dropping the full diss track towards Fat Joe, and it's called Cappuccino, which is, what Starlito said in his tweet. And in the caption, he said, "Good night at Fat Joe. Dinner have been served. Welcome to Cashville. Cappuccino out now on all platforms." With this track, I'm going to let you guys listen to it, snippets of certain parts that were really interesting to me, and then we'll talk about what he said on the track.
Every day some new shit. These rappers need to quit teaming up on these podcasts, making these little skits. Joe, I'm recovered. Let me talk a little bit. Said you gave me a 2-piece. Well, here's the biscuit. Told the story, but you just had to go and twist it. Thought I would miss it. You threw a bottle of water and didn't think that I would risk it. I ought to take it there, but I'm not gonna act like this scripted. Just here to tell the truth so the fans can't get conflicted. No hands was put on nobody, even though I attempted. I don't know if it's just you, Fat Joe, or the Ozempic, but speak facts when you say my name. This ain't the Rucker Park. I don't play them type of games.
So as you can see, Buck is completely denying the allegations. He basically is saying, hey, I tried to put hands on you. Security got in the way. Nobody put hands on anybody. And that's not the story that Fat Joe told, obviously. After Buck released the diss track, he responded to it under a different page and said, "Buy his stuff. I heard he's doing bad. I wouldn't have said it if it didn't happen." On the actual track, which is really cool, he says he spoke to Who Kid, and Who Kid said, G-Unit doesn't feel the same without Banks and Buck in the group. And I totally agree. That's a really, really dope thing to hear. And then he even shouts out 50 on the track and says, 50 knows how I get. I get the money regardless of what's going on, which is really dope to hear, man. I hope these guys come back together. I mean, even if 50's not involved, because I think 50's kind of moved on from music and just all that stuff. It would be cool to have Banks, Buck, Yayo on a G-Unit tour. That'd be really amazing, and I think that's possible, man. I would 100% go and see the show, but nonetheless, Buck has responded. He's said his side of things, and I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think. So Fat Joe, here's the problem with Fat Joe's story, is why mention this now? When you guys were beefing in your guys' prime, in 2005 till 2000 and, because the end of the beef in 2011, I think, when Chris Lighty died. So from that time frame of 2004 with New York Record, after that, it's basically when the beef with Fat Joe started, till 2011, when 50 and Fat Joe were on the same stage at the BET Hip Hop Awards, showing respect to Chris Lighty. During that time, I never heard Fat Joe mention this story at all until now. So that tells me right there that this story is fabricated, that he fabricated it. Yeah, did he run into Buck? Of course. Everybody confirms that story. But to say that Buck got hit with a 2-piece, that's fabricating the story. And it's unfortunate because the Joe and Jada podcast, there's two things about it that's really the reason why I don't watch it, frankly. One, and it has to do with Fat Joe, both of them. One is that Fat Joe just completely interrupts his guests, interrupts Jadakiss, and it's really hard to listen to a podcast when somebody is consistently interrupting people. That's annoying on any front. People say I do it when I do interviews, when I barely do it. I'm just talking sometimes at a certain moment, and yes, we're human. We'll end up interrupting here and there, but I just watched the Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder one. It was horrible because of how many times they're talking over each other, interrupted each other. Like, nobody can say what they want to say. Like, everybody has to repeat it millions of times before somebody can actually say whatever they want to say on the podcast. That's annoying on a podcast. Nobody wants to hear that, where people are talking over each other every time. And then the second thing is the Fat Joe stories. A lot of them, people have come out and said they're cap or they're halfway told. And I think Fat Joe is doing that on purpose to gain interest for the podcast. You know, I can see that angle of it. And hey, I respect that. That's part of the game. It is what it is. Some people fabricate and lie just to get more views. It is what it is. But it's frustrating, and I can't listen to that. It's just annoying. I think artists doing podcast, there's a small like percentage that should be doing it. It shouldn't just be anybody getting on there and doing podcasts and starting stuff. And a lot of artist podcasts have failed. And it's for a plethora of reasons, but, you know, that's a huge, you know, lane that I can get into and say, you know, this, and this, you know. Yeah, that's my piece. That's my at least take on it. I think Fat Joe is 100% lying. Like I said, he's been known to be a liar. To be honest with you, you know what would be the most entertaining podcast? Would be Fat Joe, Rick Ross, and The Game on one podcast telling stories, because all three of them are complete liars in how they tell stories. I mean, Rick Ross' whole identity is a cap. Game just tells stories that just don't make sense, like him being in the studio with What Up Gangsta and having a role in making sure that 50 wrote that or having an influence on 50. That makes no sense. What Up Gangsta was recorded way before 50 even met Dr. Dre and Eminem, so how could he meet The Game? Doesn't make any sense. So that's other stuff that Game is, you know, he's told so many stories on that end. I like it, though. It's entertaining. It's fun. Like, I'm not bashing these guys and saying that these guys are horrible people. I mean, people fabricate stories all the time, but it gets annoying when it's overly done. You know, that's my problem with it. But yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. Who's telling the truth? To me, like I said, it doesn't make sense. Buck has ran down on a couple people. I mean, no disrespect to Starlito. He, you know, had a fight with him. No problem. Stabbed somebody at the Vibe Awards. And I can remember off the top of my head, but he's had more altercations where he hasn't ran away or had any stories where he's been, you know, scared in the situation. The Game, he goes on to do these more interviews, and he decided to appear, I think, on Back on Fig podcast. And on there, he addressed why he didn't show up on Kendrick Lamar's Pop-Out show. So let's play this clip.
Dude, I mean, the only thing you didn't do for us, nigga, was like a concert like the Pop-Out. You niggas, you didn't even like, that's the only fucking thing you ain't do, nigga, but you had to, though. You had to.
Here it is with the Pop-Out, bro.
Yeah.
I set it out on purpose. It's too much gang politics with me when I come somewhere. It was niggas at the Pop-Out that I don't fuck with. So why go to the Pop-Out, bring homies to the Pop-Out, right? Get into a confrontation at the Pop-Out when a nigga is having a great moment, bro.
No. We finna back up from that. Fuck all of that. Gang, this is where we stop. This is where the Pop-Out is unity. Is stop the beef. It's all that. It's sitting on stage. And we moving forward,
that's
nigga.
That's cool. You talking
know what
that? You talking
yeah,
that
nigga.
shit?
That's what niggas was doing that day.
No, bro.
That's what niggas was doing that day.
You say that, but all it take is one nigga from this shit to get out of pocket with one nigga, and that's what comes with me.
Well, why you didn't go by yourself then?
What you mean come by yourself? Nigga, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not doing that.
Ain't no fucking way niggas gonna let somebody have it to you.
Number one.
Once you walk in there and niggas invited you and you was there, no fucking way.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say it on back.
Smack, am I right?
I'm not. Here's the thing, bro. Y'all niggas are like, the thing that you saying and you saying right now is like, don't let nothing happen to me. Nigga, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to me, number one. And number two, just so everybody see it, so it's said. If you gonna clip anything, clip this. If something happened to me, whoever did it is getting smoked, nigga. Period. Because my shit is already in position. The niggas that love me, that is with me, that's my niggas, know for sure. If something happens to Chuck, you dying, nigga. 7 days flat.
So let's back this up. So the Pop-Out, you the one said you didn't want to come.
I can make that decision.
Yeah. So everybody was wondering why you did not show up, or was he left out on purpose?
Niggas, number one, I don't understand how you get left out. Nigga, I could just go.
Yeah.
Can't nobody tell Game I can't go nowhere I want to go in LA. I go anywhere the fuck I want, bro. Yeah. Anywhere. And anybody can go anywhere they want. It ain't just me, but it ain't nobody telling me after living in this motherfucking city for 50 years, I can't go where I want to go. Or ain't nothing. Nigga, I know ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Nigga, ain't nothing happened to me yet. Nigga, I've been in the trenches, bro. I know a lot of niggas don't know how bullets feel, nigga. I know them shit's hot. I know how they feel, nigga. I know how to lay up in the coma and talk to your auntie and be at your grandma's house and learn how to walk again, nigga, because I got 2 in the leg, nigga, 1 in the chest, nigga, 1 in the stomach. I know how them shits feel, nigga. I survived that shit, homie. I got dead, nigga, brothers that's at Inglewood Cemetery, homies that's at Inglewood Cemetery, nigga. I grew up in a gang-banging household.
All right, after watching the clip, man, the conversation just got totally changed to whatever. The N-word was said probably like, I want to say like 100 times easily. That's all I kept hearing. I mean, the whole time. But here's the thing, right? There are multiple speculations as to why the Game didn't show up there. Game, it didn't seem like he addressed it directly. I think he kind of just wishy-washed it and said, hey, I chose not to show up. Even if I wasn't invited, I could still show up if I want to. And that could be partially true. That could be partially true, man. If Game pulled up at the pop-out, you know, I don't know. To me, I just doubt Kendrick was like, do not bring Game. If he comes through here, do not bring Game. We don't want Game here. I don't know. I don't see that. You know, I don't know if was Snoop Dogg at the pop-out. Snoop Dogg, let me see. Snoop Dogg. I don't remember him being on there, man. Nobody had a problem with that. Yeah, so Snoop Dogg wasn't at the pop-out. So nobody had a problem with Snoop Dogg not being there. I don't know, man. Whoever wanted to show up, showed up. Really, that's the way I'm viewing it. I don't think Game is like, I think he kind of just said, hey, like, doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter whether I got invited, whether I showed up or not. I just didn't want to go. And that's his stance on it. I have no issue with that. I totally agree. He does talk about later on in this interview about his relationship with Dr. Dre. I don't think it's good. I'm going to be honest with you. If it was, the documentary 3 would have some type of production from Dr. Dre. I mean, it's only right because he had a major role in the first one. And I think he did some tracks on the second one. I could be wrong. I don't know because I didn't really fuck with the second one. And then this third one, you know, if there's no Dr. Dre at all, then clearly there's no relationship there because Game should easily be able to be like, hey, Dre, what up? How you doing? Let's lock in the studio. We live literally right next to each other, basically. Let's lock in the studio. Let's make some music. I think Dr. Dre still feels like Game isn't loyal. You know, Game's been back and forth on a lot of things, but with the Super Bowl thing, it kind of went overboard. And he actually talks about the Super Bowl thing and all that. And, you know, he's addressed some of these things. He never addressed the pop-out thing like directly. He did, you know, on video mention it. But he could have also not wanted to go because he's cool with Drake, man. You know, him being there then all of a sudden alienates him from Drake. And he's you know, he's tapped in with Drake, he's tapped in with Kendrick. And really, if you're friends of both, you should have sat this one out. Because what could potentially happen down the line is they could end up squashing their beef and being cool with each other. And if that happens, you look like a fucking moron because you took a side. You know, so that's the take on that. And just, you know, I wouldn't have taken a side. I would have said, hey, I fuck with you, Kendrick. I fuck with you, Drake. But I like both of y'all, so I ain't taking a side on nobody. The only people that should be taking a side is the people that are really close to both of them. Really close. We're talking family, friends, like people that grew up, you know, like TDE, the fucking owner of TDE, obviously is going to side with Kendrick. It wouldn't make sense for him to be in the middle. But like artists that just collaborated with them, that knew them here and there, you know, middle, man. Don't take a stance because, you know, it alienates you. You know, the perfect example is Rick Ross. He took a clear stance in siding with Lil Wayne during their issues. And now Birdman never fucks with Rick Ross ever again. And rightfully so. He shouldn't in the first place because William Roberts is a cop. But other than that, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, that's his take on it. J-Rock responded. So they actually asked him about the whole two steez and, you know, did he, you know, because two T's, sorry. Two steez, right? I keep two T's. I don't know. Fuck. Two T's. His name. He, you know, called cap on Game wanting to sign Kendrick Lamar. So Game addressed that. And this is what he said.
Yeah, so
that shit is cool.
Because you went viral for saying you wanted to sign Dot. And then this is where we start arguing at. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bitch. Yes, sit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no, I want niggas.
Yeah.
I want niggas.
Come on.
Hey,
you said that. You said, hold on. You said you wanted to sign Dot.
Yeah.
And then two T's commented under this. So we need to clarify. He said you never tried to sign Dot blood verbatim. You know what I'm saying? So let's clarify that.
Here go the thing, bro. Number one, two T's. I let two T's stay with me for 5 years in the beginning of my career. 5 years I let blood stay with me, right? I don't got no issues with niggas until they got an issue with me. I don't know what blood issue is, but whatever. Niggas is 46 years old. But as far as like TDE, nigga, ask Top Dog, bro. What it is with me and what it was with me and what it is like what it is with me today. You gotta ask Kendrick. Like, let these niggas talk. Here's the thing. How the fuck can a nigga tell me what I wanted to do? If I tell you right now, I wanted to sign Kendrick, how the fuck you gonna tell me what I didn't want to do? I didn't say I signed Kendrick, had a chance to sign Kendrick. When I asked Top Dog about signing Kendrick, Top Dog would tell you this, nigga. Top Dog was like, nah, I can't let that nigga go. Literally, nigga, to my face. So how can a nigga tell me what I didn't want? Kendrick damn near the only nigga I ever really thought about signing, because I knew the nigga's skill set was, I saw it be nigga way before nigga the world saw it. Right. Which is why I put him on my early mixtapes, and Top allowed that shit, and then I bought J-Rock and Kendrick on tour. Anybody to say that I wasn't instrumental or I didn't put out a helping hand to help niggas is a straight lying, a fucking sucker ass nigga, bro, because you would not be keeping it 100 with yourself, and you'll be lying to the people if you didn't say that I ain't help niggas, bro. Like, I helped niggas when I didn't have to help nobody. All my homies, nigga, my brother, everybody wanted me to keep the shit on Cedar Block because we had it. It was Black Wall Street. We was running over anything, nigga. We was running over anything in the streets at that time. And musically, nigga, it wasn't nobody out carrying this shit except me. Nigga, I opened the floodgates for what this shit is now.
After that video, J-Rock responded in the comments, and he put, I don't know what this means. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but it's an ugly photo of a woman, just really ugly. That was his response to what Game said on that clip. So I don't know what's going on, man. I'm glad Kendrick didn't sign with Game, because nothing from Game's like label ever came like to fruition. Black Wall Street, was the anti-G Unit. It was the GU not. Nothing came out of that. Like, no artist actually blew up off Black Wall Street. So yeah, Kendrick signing with Game would have been one of the worst decisions Kendrick would have made, because I highly doubt his career would have gone anywhere. It just would have been shelved, because Game as a businessman isn't a smart businessman. He doesn't know how to market his brand properly. He doesn't know how to protect his brand properly, and those things are important. How to market yourself, how to protect your brand is very, very important. And he doesn't do that well at all, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the whole take. There's going to be back and forth. I think the only people that can address this is obviously Top from TDE, because that's clearly one of the people that Game was talking to directly when it comes to signing him. And that's really about it. I don't think Kendrick Lamar is going to address this, because he never does interviews ever in his career. But that's it, man. Let me know what you guys think. Now, finally, let's talk about this F the Streets movement that's going on. One, I want to clarify, I am not from the streets. I did not grow up rich, though, at all. I came from Europe, from a war-torn country, came to America. My parents were poor, but they made it to a decent level financially, where as long as they could give us clothes, food, and electricity, house to stay in, stuff like that, I was more than happy, right? We weren't rich, never grew up in a rich place, but I was around some people in my school that, gang bang, that did drugs and stuff like that. So I was around some street people. I never was in the streets gang banging, shooting all that shit up. I just never found that interesting, never thought it was a smart thing to do, even though there were certain moments where I stole here and there at stores and shit like that, getting around the wrong people. But that's kind of my history, my quick, brief history. Just because you're not from the streets doesn't mean you're a soft person, or you don't, you're not strong, tough, whatever. All that shit is played out. So anybody who's saying, oh, you're not from the street, you don't understand the street lifestyle, you don't understand the toughness, blah, blah, blah. That's not the point of the streets. The point of the streets is different shit that I'm not, quote unquote, qualified to speak on. But I will talk about the whole what's going on with this movement, right? And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons. To be honest with you, I'm all for all the bullshit being put aside in this music and hip-hop. I fell in love with hip-hop because, here's the thing, 50 is my favorite rapper, right? 50 talked about a lot of street stuff in his music. 50 also did some street stuff. But here's a huge but that a lot of rappers in today's time don't do. 50 in interviews said that was a lifestyle that if I had to be able to choose, and if I was in a better position in my life, I would have never done. And he downplays all of that stuff. He says, hey, I don't smoke, I don't drink, doing all this stuff. I only did it because I had to do it to survive. That's it. He downplays it in interviews. He always said, hey, this is not the way you want to go. I would have rather gone the college route. I would have rather done different things, but that's the cards that life gave me. Nowadays, you got, not saying 21 Savage or any of these other artists, because I don't know every single 21 Savage song or any of these newer artists, but a lot of these newer ones, especially the newer ones, they'll make fun of dead people. They'll go to the person's grave, shoot a music video, making fun of the person dead. They won't denounce the street stuff. They'll go on IG Live and triple down on it. They'll flash guns. They'll do a bunch of dumb shit that just promotes more violence and ignorance in hip hop. And it's unfortunate. If these people were talking about street stuff in their music and then downplaying it in their interviews and saying, listen, that's the environment that it came from. It's not something that I encourage and glorify and all this, I'd be like, okay, that's reasonable, right? Because it's entertainment to a certain extent with music. Right? You can rap about the street stuff. It's entertainment. But when you're rapping about dead people and making fun of them and smoking on this op and doing all this, that's too far. That's where it gets ignorant and just dumb. And I don't fuck with that kind of music. I just don't. So that's my kind of take on, there needs to be a better, I don't mind a rapper rapping about the street stuff if they come from it, even some that have seen it from other people. I don't mind that either. But then when you go in interviews and you triple down on that stuff, or you say, or you're not even from that type of stuff and you're completely rapping about it and you get exposed as somebody who's never been in that type of lifestyle, William Roberts, that's, the difference. So let's first go over this stuff. And, 21 Savage, in order to promote his album, and I think this is all promotion. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think any of this is genuine. I hope some of it is, because I like the route of, stopping all the ignorant, dumb shit. I like that route. That's the route we should have been going a long time ago. But if it takes this to finally go the proper route, then be great. But 21 Savage tweeted, and said, Gunna, Young Thug, y'all guys fix that stuff. Y'all love each other. You knew Gunna wasn't no gangster when he told the first time, and we swept it under the rug for you. He wasn't trying to leave you hanging. F the streets. We ain't get shit but trauma from that shit. Thug quoted then said, F the streets at 21 Savage. And then this whole movement started where F the streets, we don't rock with the streets. YFN Lucci said F the streets. G Herbo said off the streets. Pooh Shiesty said traumatized, F the streets. And that's what, 21 Savage explains. Because he started getting backlash from gangsters and saying, you come from the streets, now you're just disowning it and saying it's bad, blah, blah, blah. He said this, so he clarified. He said, when I say F the streets, I'm talking about the part of the game that gave me trauma and made me can't sleep at night. It made me can't sleep at night. It doesn't sound right. If you ain't tired of that part, you ain't been through it. So he's saying basically the trauma, the side of hey, dealing with all this burden and not being able to sleep properly and all this stuff, right? Then apparently because of this, Quavo and Offset got on FaceTime to squash whatever issues they had. And 21 Savage had a call recently promoting the unity after Savage advised Thugger to forgive Gunna. We'll see if it actually happens. In any case, Set spoke on the message during an interview with V103. He said, I feel like it's honestly a beautiful message to put out. It's powerful for our city, that stuff. And apparently they're going to be on the, they got on the phone to end their issues. From there, they obviously got backlash. And 6ix9ine was one of the first people to get backlash. He said, Tekashi 6ix9ine was going hard at Fabio Foreign a couple of years ago, but it seems like their fiery feud might have gotten an opportunity to hatchet burial. That's because after Streets movement that 21 Savage, Young Thug, and many other rappers have promoted this week. 6ix9ine already clowned Young Thug and 21 Savage, but many folks didn't expect a Brooklyn drill MC to chime in so nonchalantly. So what did 6ix9ine say? Now it's F the streets, Tekashi posted on his Instagram story. But remember, when it was, 6ix9ine, we don't care about your platinum records. We platinum in the streets. But now it's F the streets. So he's calling out, hypocrisy in this type of field, right? Fabio Foreign said, not going to lie, this one time 6ix9ine's goofy ass was right. The streets keep me moving. I'm assuming he meant moving, and keep me and mine's good. And guess what? I better not see one guy from the streets support nobody that say F the streets. I don't care who you are. Nobody get a pass at my eyes. The streets is the reason why a lot of these guys in these positions, I never turn my back on my biggest support system. How guys help change the streets or say the streets. Nah, LOL. I can't just let you guys say F the streets. Here's a misconception, right? Do the streets really support you in your music career? Is it the streets actually buying your music, guys? Like, let's actually sit down and analyze this. It's mainly white people that fuck with your music. Let's just be honest here, right? A lot of white people actually buy music and not bootleg it. And minorities bootleg a lot of it. Not to say all of them, but that's the majority. And that's been proven time in and time out. You look at the concerts, a lot of white people are attending the concerts instead of other minority groups. That's just the reality. So really, are the streets supporting your career? Yeah. Could there have been people in the streets that rock with you and notice you and help? Of course. But the whole F the streets, like 21 Savage said, is not like fuck the people. It's about, the whole trauma that comes with it. But Boozy then chimed in. And Boozy actually had something interesting to say. He said, if the rappers gonna say F the streets, y'all need to stop rapping about them. Stop double dipping. Rap about fruits, college courses, and staying out the streets. If you're from the streets shaped you to the man you are today. Your mindset, your hustle, your intuition, etc. come from the streets. Your support came from the streets. Yes, I want every kid to make it out the streets. That's what we all want, but I'm never saying F the streets. They responsible for our success. Don't forget, every successful independent record label started from where the streets. All yo music came from the streets. Yo, by my mama, you met her in the streets, so it's F the streets. So if it's F the streets, don't rap about them. Simple as that. Show the world fans how good of artists y'all is, and take the streets all the way out of y'all rap vocabulary. I mean, I don't know, man. And then Charleston White said, stand on this shit. I hate you, hypocritical guys, frauds. Here's the thing, man. There's a lot of different backlash coming at it. I think it's really as simple as this, man. Let's stop at least the crazy violence in the music. Like I said, the op smoking, the pissing on funerals, the laughing about people getting killed, whatever. Like, that shouldn't be co-signed. There shouldn't be mainstream rappers saying, yo, I fuck with this guy. If they're connected to any gang ties. Like, there needs to be a certain line set where, like, hey, this is entertainment. We can rap about this gangsta stuff, but in real life, we need to keep it very professional. We need to not encourage this stuff. And that's why I was using 50 Cent as an example. 50, the music was gangsta entertaining, but in interviews, you would hear him downplay a lot of that. A lot. I mean, he would say no smoking, no drinking. I don't, like I said earlier in the video. That's what I'm talking about. Is like, downplay it. Don't promote it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why don't we have artists like that anymore? Why don't we have artists that are gangsta, but then in interviews say, hey, this isn't cool. Jay-Z, been in the streets, done all that shit. Interviews, very professional, doesn't promote that shit. It's crazy that those artists don't really exist anymore, man. They don't. That's the way I'm taking it. That's the way I think. I think there needs to be an artist, the newer generation artists, that downplay it and say, hey, man, yeah, this is what I said in the music, but I don't really promote that, man. It's just entertainment. It's what I used to do. It's what I used to live. But now, I'm in a mansion. I'm rich. That type of stuff that happened when I was in that position in my life. But I don't condone it. I don't sit out here and promote it every single time. And that's really what it boils down to. It needs to be a balance. It can't just be, yo, gangsta shit in the music. Oh, fuck this guy, kill this guy, do this. Fuck my ops, smoke my ops. And then interviews, fuck my ops, smoke my ops, show your pistols, show all it, that's overdoing it. There needs to be a balance, a better, keep the professionalism in here. Even if you're from the streets, keep the professionalism. Know how to build a brand, know how to respect yourself, know how to respect elders in hip hop that came before you as well. Because there's a lot that just say, fuck you, you're old, you're what is it, forget the word, but all that shit. There needs to be better authority. There needs to be better, higher tiers where artists understand that, hey, these young guys, yeah, they're young, crazy. They probably won't listen to me as much, but let's set an image. Let's say that, let's show them that we can grow older. We can build businesses. We can have longevity. And a lot of them are showing that, thankfully. Yeah, I think the message was taken the wrong way, but regardless, out of all this that I just said, I think it's just a publicity stunt. You want to know why I think it's a publicity stunt? The album's called What Happened to the Streets. All of a sudden, it's F the Streets. It relates to the album title. The album wasn't good at all. The streams weren't good. All of a sudden, it got a boost in streams, which was very suspicious, and they actually re-rolled those. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit when I talk about the sales of the album. But I think a lot of this was just for promotion, man. You got to think, YFN Lucci and Young Thug are on probation. If they mess up and encourage violence, they're going to go right back to jail. So why not? They're going to start saying F the streets. We're not a part of that gangsta stuff. Well, they should have been saying this stuff a long time ago. They should have not been. This is the problem. Once you make it, stop doing dumb gangster shit. Stop it. Stop it. It's that simple. Just stop. And I know people are going to be like, oh, but you can be tied to the streets, and they can, yeah, you can't just completely get your foot out of it. I understand certain aspects of that. But if you go to the YFN Lucci Young Thug thing, did that really have to get to the point where people are shooting each other's moms and damn near killing people? Like, does it have to go to that level? Does anybody in the group say, hey, let's think about this logically, man. We're millionaires. We're making legal money here. We're really going to fuck this up for something that was said to a certain extent? And I get it. Some people that are in the crew, and even Fat Joe said this on this Joe and Jada podcast, there are people that will blow your head off just because they want that notoriety. They want that credibility from you. I get that. But here's another example. And here, I always go back to 50. 50 had Bang'em Smurf with him. Bang'em Smurf was a street guy that 50, put under his wing. 50 said Bang'em Smurf was going around shooting shit up without 50 even saying a word. He was just doing gangsta street stuff for him. And 50 was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're fucking up my money. You're fucking up everything that we're building. If you start getting involved in gang street shit, then it's going to tie to me and I'm going to get locked up for some dumb shit. And that's the point, is once you get into the music industry and you are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, get out of the street stuff, denounce it, do interviews saying, hey, that's my past life. I'm just rapping about it. That's my experience. That's it. Instead, we have these rappers that are still pushing into it, still promoting it. We have some artists that have never been involved in the streets going to the streets after they make it, which makes no fucking sense. Who's the perfect example? Chris Brown. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy started getting into street shit. And he came out with Crank That. He could have gone the route of like a fucking Will Smith Disney Channel type shit. Made way more money. Soulja Boy could have been in a huge different position had he played his cards right. But no, he made it, started getting involved in street shit. Why? To seem cool in front of people? Why? And that's the mentality I want to shift. I want to shift that mentality. That's the number one thing that has been hurting hip-hop overall, is, first of all, promoting the violence, continuing to it, even after you make it out, and acting like you're still street and be in the streets and all that. And some are, which is stupid, once again. Like, try to get out of it. Even if some of you are embroiled in it deep. Look at Chief Keef, deeply embroiled in it, where everyone around him damn near died. He got out of there. He got to a different state, did his own thing. Doesn't matter. Got out of it. You can get out of it to a certain extent. I get it. Some people will die. Some things will happen. And it's, you want to retaliate. I understand all this, all the range of human emotions that go with all this stuff, right? It makes perfect sense. I can understand it. Maybe not to the certain extent that because if it was happening to me, it'd be a different story. And it's easier to say on my end because I didn't have somebody murder somebody in my family and then I want to go retaliate. But there needs to be a certain understanding that if I do this, if I continue this, it's going to lead for worse things in general for everybody. And it's hard to understand that in that moment. But my point is, these older artists need to jump in, and they should have been saying this. They should have been saying, hey, this is dumb. You guys are going to go down a path. Why not go down the path of dropping all this? You made it. You're rich right now. Whether you're making hundreds of thousands a month or you're making millions, you're rich. Get out of the streets. Try to grab as much people as you can. Help them out. If you can't and they're still stuck in their street mentality, leave them. You have to evolve. And it's that simple. That's the problem with it. That's really the problem with it. And that's the way I view this F the streets thing. Is that's what should happen. Is these artists need to leave that street shit alone once they make it and move on. And try your best to stay away from it as much as you can. And if you made it without having to do street stuff, like Chris Brown and Soulja Boy, don't go in it acting tough. Don't go in it trying to get involved. Like Drake is another example. Drake's gotten way more into the street stuff. And it's like, why do that, man? Just play your role. That's it. You made it, bro. You made it. You're living a life that most people never live in their life. They don't even make that kind of money ever. They'll never see $1 million in a year ever in their life. That's like 99% of people. And yet you're willing to fuck all that up for dumb shit. And that's my whole rant about this, is that mindset needs to change, man. That mindset of once I make it, get out of it. And unfortunately, a lot of artists used to be like that. Now it's like reversed and it's gotten worse. all the artists from the 2000s, man, they would denounce that shit. Maybe because it's PR training. Maybe they're just, I don't know, man. Maybe they just had more of a head on their shoulders. I don't know. But there were a lot of artists you would see in interviews that wouldn't talk that street stuff, man. They'll be like, man, that's my past. I'm not proud of that past. I had to go through it. I rap about it. Am I promoting it? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm making music about my experience. And that's all an artist can do is make music about their experience. So that's my take on it. That was a long-ass rant, but that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think of that kind of aspect of it. I'm all for the bad shit in hip-hop being eliminated. This shit of, promoting violence and laughing at dead people and smoking ops and all this other stuff, I'm not for. That's why I don't like a lot of the newer music, man. It's just gotten way too extreme on that side. And really, a lot of artists just sound the same. So that's another factor. But that's my take on it. Let's get into new music Friday. YFN Lucci dropped Already Legend, the Gifted Edition Deluxe. I got to check that out. I fuck with YFN Lucci's music. Polo G dropped Hood Poet Blackheart Edition album. ESTG dropped Supreme Sanders, the song. Fredo Bang dropped Who's Hiding, the song. And I think that's it. The Baby dropped Paper Low. Dave East dropped East Mix Volume 1, the album. And then Logic dropped the Ballad of Rooster Jenkins. Interesting nonetheless. Album sales. Taylor Swift is still number one with The Life of a Showgirl at 102,000. This is interesting now. 21 Savage is at number 2 with What Happens to the Streets with 90,000. Mind you, this album was like projected to only sell like 50-something, 57 or 60,000 the first week. So it got jumped a lot. Turns out like 37,000 of the sales were like boosted. So I don't know. It's crazy. This is it's dumb to even try to boost at this time when all eyes are on you after you drop the album. It's stupid. It's a clear, like they should have done like a slight boost where maybe you see Morgan Wallen's at 74,000, maybe boost it like to 75 or 77 just so you can get the second spot. But dumb move on his end, but we'll see what happens with that. If there's any repercussions of that, probably not. Morgan Wallen, number 3 with I'm the Problem, 74,000. K-Pop Demon Hunter soundtrack, number 4 with 69,000. Number 5, Michael Bubble Christmas with 68,000. Number 6, Bing Crosby Ultimate Christmas, 66,000. Number 7, Nat King Cole, The Christmas Song at 55,000. Number 8, Vince Guaraldi Trio, Charlie Brown Christmas, 47,000. Number 9, Phil Sector, A Christmas Gift for You, 47,000. And Mariah Carey, Merry Christmas at number 10 with 46,000. SZA SOS, number 13 with 37,000. Drake, Take Care, number 36 with 23,000. Crazy sales. Cardi B, Am I the Drama, number 42 with 22,000. Lil Baby, The Leaks, number 45 with 21,000. Nas and DJ Premier debuts at number 46 with 21,000 sold first week. Kendrick Lamar, GNX, number 49 with 19,000. And Party Next Door and Drake, Some Sexy Songs for You at number 50 with 19,000. Not bad for Nas and DJ Premier, man. Random album. Well, they did kind of do a little bit of promo. They announced the release date a little bit ahead of time, but not bad, man. 21,000 for them. Pretty cool. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Spotter, Deezer Podcast, all that. YouTube. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this. And peace.